Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Welcome to the first episode on how I build commander decks. And this is going to be a several videos in this series. I'm super excited to share it with you. I just need to introduce myself. I am Commander Claude. That is my YouTube EDH name, and I feel like I have a really cool template to help you, either a new player or a seasoned player, build your commander deck. And this is going to be a journey for me as I figure out how to effectively put this content together. And my goal is to release this type of video once per week. But the first episode right now that you are watching is going to be the general overview. And it's really 5 easy steps to start building your deck. Um, Step 3 is the deck building template, and I will actually have a separate video on that to be more detail oriented on how I build my decks. And I think it's very effective. But as you know, or you will learn, you have to learn the game of Magic, whether it's the rules, phases of a turn, and the different themes and strategies that are involved with every aspect of the game. So that is on you, but I hopefully throughout this journey, I'll help you get to these different markers and points. And no matter what, I always like to say my videos aren't for me. They're just a platform for lots of other viewers to comment, share, and share their knowledge. And hey, read the comment section below because there's other people out there who have experiences and are more than willing to share their input. So thank you, thank you. Let's get started with my first ever EDH commander. So there's no wrong way or right way to choose your first commander or to choose a commander. You might choose a commander based off a challenge, theme, artwork, or even creature type. My first commander, my favorite commander of all time, is Kess Dissident Mage. It is a Grixis color commander. It was difficult to put together first. I definitely think most new players should start with a two-colored or monocolored commander. But no matter what, whenever you choose your commander, there should be one goal in mind. It is to get deck building experience so you can figure out what is your favorite type of commander, strategy, theme you want to do. But there's no even specific thing on that. You might have a janky merfolk tribal deck that just has a bunch of merfolks and they might do one thing that well and you just enjoy that commander. But let's get started. Step 2, you got to visit your collection. Your collection could be hard copies of the card. You may have started with Battle for Zendikar, or maybe a Bloom Burrow, or maybe you're just getting started with the Final Fantasy set. No matter what, you got to have a collection to build your 100 card deck, minus one, which is your commander, and get started with all these singleton formats. Uh, Otherwise, I do recommend visiting moxfield.com to build your deck online. And what's good is the good thing about it is you can actually save your deck while it is in progress. So even if you don't have all the cards, you could add all the cards that you would ideally would like to have for that deck and see how it works, or just build it on a lower power level bracket, scale, form, whatever that may be. So step number 2, visit your collection. If you don't have the entire collection, go to moxfield.com. Otherwise, there is the other option of proxying. Ain't nothing wrong with proxying. These cards are expensive. This is an expensive hobby. It adds up pretty quick and it's very addicting. So heck, if you're cool, if your group is cool with proxying, proxy it. Hey, you got to decide your win con. Now, I understand if you're new to Magic, you may not know what your win con is, but most win cons require you to go to combat. So just know that your commander generally has to go to combat to have some kind of effect, trigger, or ability that it wants to do. So, for example, if you have Marnius Calgar in the middle here, he rewards you for what? Whenever you create a token, you get to draw a card. So, you probably want to put a bunch of creature tokens onto the battlefield and attack your opponents and add a bunch of effects after that. That is an option, but that's not all he can do. Over here on the left, we got Cloud Midgard Mercenary. He's a Voltron commander from Final Fantasy. He's probably going to be your only commander, only creature on the battlefield, and you need to go to attack. You need to go to the combat phase, swing at your opponent, deal damage, and all those equipments that are attached to him. Hey, guess what? They get an additional trigger. So that is one probability of a win con. Another example is Kali of the Vast over here. You have to go to your attack phase in order to put down an angel, demon, or dragon. For free, and you swing, tapped, and attacking. Hey, these are most of your win cons going to combat. Now let's talk about other ways to go to uh, your win con, right? They could be mill effects, where you mill your opponent's entire library. So when they draw a card, they have no cards to draw and they lose the game. Another way to win in Magic is have a infinite combo where it ultimately creates infinite mana, infinite drain life, infinite into the battlefield abilities, and there's some kind of spell that says, hey, this opponent loses one life for each creature entering the battlefield, or you create infinite mana and you play a giant X spell like a fireball and it deals 300 damage to a player, stuff like that. There's so many possibilities of win cons. So that could be a video in itself later on. Stay tuned. So the deck building template I have, it involves 99 cards. The 100th card is your commander. I always put in 35 lands no matter what. No matter what. No matter the CMC of my commander, 35 is the minimum. But my goal is 38. Now, if you look over here to the right-hand side, you'll see 8 squares with the number 8 in them. 8 represents how many cards are in the 8 squares. So, what do I mean by this? In each square, there will be a category and 8 cards of that category. And let me tell you, I feel like this is a great visual and probability grid for you to visually imagine your deck. So 8 times 8 equals 64. 64 plus 35 is 99 cards. Okay, so if you play, imagine yourself playing this game of Commander, you have 8 by 8, you know, 8 things I have a probability of getting in out of the 64. That's what I like to visually. I know mathematically it may not be right. I don't know the calculator that's able to create that mathematical equation and solve it. But this is nice theory and theoretical way to categorize and visualize what you can do. So, also note, you can remove a certain amount of cards from one of these categories to add to another category. So, like I said, I ideally want to get the 38 lands. I know I will remove 3 cards, at least from one category, to get the 38, or 1 card from each category of 3, total of 3, to get the 38 lands. So, let me elaborate what the categories are. So, these are my categories that I have for my commander, right? I have card draw, I have mana ramp, I have removal slash board wipes, I have utility, I have theme, I have protection, I have theme 1 or 2, and I have X. Okay, let's start with card draw. Card draw is number 2 of the most 3 important things that I have to do in my deck. So I automatically know 8 cards are going for card draw. Okay. The first important thing is mana ramp, which I should have put in first, but mana ramp. Mana ramp is important because I want to have at least 8 cards to accelerate my game plan and be able to have more opportunity to cast one spell or multiple spells or a heavy CMC spell. And also, I think players should imagine casting their commander at least 2 times per game. So, why that's important? If you add enough mana ramp in your deck, you should ideally plan on being able to cast your commander twice because most commanders require to be on the battlefield in order for you to win. Just saying. Like I mentioned before, going to combat, you need to have your commander on the battlefield and go into combat to get some kind of trigger. Just depends on the way you build it. Mana ramp. Next up, I got removal, right? We need to have removal in our deck to protect our commander or to eliminate threats that our opponents have on there. Now, I've seen other templates, they don't have this 8x8 square grid that I have for you, but 8 could be a lot for some people. I prefer 8. I like to have the ability of removal. I also will let you know some cards, like charms or modal spells, can fit in multiple categories of this 8x8 grid. So they will count as one card of the choice you choose to. See, this is what I mean by the visualization of it. Next up, we got utility. These are cards that just might be interactive, cards that, such as a tutor, that can get you from point A to point B, or it's an effect that you need to have or you want to have. It could also just be just an additional way to provide your deck with that game breaking ability. Like maybe a voting effect on cards. So, yes, that is the utility slot. Next up is your theme. So, I mentioned earlier, you're going to go to learning themes. A great way to learn themes is go to EDH Rec and look at your commander, and you'll see next to your commander how players build it. It could be a discard theme, it could be sacrifice outlets, it could be wheels, it could be cantrips, it could be all these different themes. Depending on your commander, these are at least 8 cards that go with it. Okay, protection. Next up, protection, protection, protection. You can't win the game or you can't play the game if your commander is not on the battlefield and needs to be on the battlefield more than one turn. So why not protect it? Players will hit it with targeted removal or board wipe or make you sacrifice it due to edicts. You need to have a way to keep it on the battlefield because each turn counts in the game of Magic. Each turn counts. Next up, we got theme 1 or 2. Now, if you're beginning, theme 1 is super important because you want to double up on that theme so you can consistently do what your commander wants to do. Whatever your goal is, you want an extra 8 to consistently do what it does. Some players build in a sub theme into their deck. That's why I have theme 2. Theme 2 could just be an additional 8, right? Additional 8 cards that are sub synergy to your commander and its effects. Next up, we have X, right? What will X do? What will X be? Well, that could be theme 1 as an additional 8 cards because you really want to emphasize the commander's strength. So imagine having 8, 16, 24 cards that does what the commander's strength is. You will consistently do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Also, you can create a balanced theme where, hey, theme 1, then theme 1 again, that's 16 cards, then X is theme 2. So you have 16 cards of theme 1, 8 cards of theme 2. You consistently get in theme 1 and a little sub theme to add the little spice to your deck. Also, X could be game winners, win cons, game enders. You know, at least 8 cards are dedicated to you winning the game. Maybe you have a spell slinger deck and you need these big bad X spells to finish off your opponents. Yes, yes, you know 8 slots are there perfectly for them. So, this being said, I will have another video explaining this more in depth, but what you need to know, these categories can be manipulated based on your commander and what you want to do. So sometimes I have a commander, let's say example, mono red commander. I am going to have a higher number of mana ramp and card draw in that deck because I know, based off of play experience, that I want to be able to get cards. And also, whenever I draw a land, that's kind of a dead play. If I'm not able to see another card, mono red is not going to cut it. And mono red, I'm kind of leading into the philosophy of mono red on how to build the deck because mono red is a type of deck that's going to eliminate at least one player. It may not survive enough to get the other two. So, hey, I'm going to build to its strength and cover its weaknesses. So, I need to have mana ramp and card draw so I can consistently see more cards and play cards. I'm just going to lack in the removal department because, hey, red doesn't have that great of removal anyway. So, moving on to building your deck, adding cards. Make sure you look at your collection of cards and group the cards that you think work well with your commander. You could, depending on your level, depending on what cards you have, you can just make easy groups of blue, black, and red, right? But also use EDH Rec and see what cards you do have that match the cards that are recommended on EDH Rec. These are deck lists of other players, this huge player base that have constructed decks, and EDH Rec is a great tool to get you started. There's going to be players, people that hate on EDH Rec, but depends how you use it. It's very effective, and I think it's a great tool for new players. And it's a consistent. Actually, it's a good tool in general. Bump new players and older players. You need to be able to visually and digitally see cards effectively because otherwise, I can't imagine this being 1990 where we're looking at cards in our bulk box and just going to an LGS and trying to figure out what cars really work. Like what? Back in 1990s, I mean, LGS was going to your LGS was just like the dream. Now you just go online and buy cards and see what synchronizes. Completely different world. But just to showcase my favorite commander, my first commander, Kest Dissident Mage, you know, she is a instant and sorcery spell slinger commander. So I found cards that emphasize instances like brainstorm that I want to cast and cast from my graveyard. Stormkill Artist is a creature that allows me to, create treasure tokens for each instant or sorcery spell that I play. Niv Mizzet, just an abusive power creature that rewards me for drawing cards, and it's in blue and red. So, yes, moving on to the final step. So, final step when you're building your deck is playtesting. Playtesting, playtesting, playtesting. If you've seen the word or heard the word goldfish, that means playtesting. Have you seen the website mtggoldfish.com? Well, that's a play on playtesting your EDH deck. So I just wanted to say that out there. But as you playtest, there are several things that you need to start thinking about. There are several questions you should ask when you are playtesting. What is the goal of my deck? How can my deck win? Does my deck do what it needs to do? Can I get to the win situation of my deck? What does the win situation look like for my deck? Did I cast my commander on curve or one turn after? Can I cast my commander on curve or one turn after? Did I start the game consistently? Do I play several games consistently? That are These are several questions that you have to ask yourself as you play test. And preferably, I like to play test with the cards themselves, right? I feel like when you actually touch and feel the cards in your deck, you build that bond with your deck. Like let's be honest, everybody has their favorite deck and they know the vibe and energy that it brings. But there are other options out there to play test your deck, like on Moxfield, where you built it and what I recommended earlier. So you can consistently play test your deck on there. What I do like about that, it is easier to shuffle, so you get to see the variances of your deck more often. And that's what you need to do. And you can adjust, add, or remove cards faster and put in a sideboard that you can digitally and visually see. So use your resources when you need to playtest. thank you for making it this far in this video. This is just the introductory video of the series, a quick overview of the 5 steps on how I build my decks. The steps are repeatable 3 through 5, and I just want to share my methodology, how I think about things, how I consistently put decks together. I have over 40 decks in my pod. I'm the guy with the most. It gets addicting. And I really feel like my way is a great way to help players learn the themes, synergies, and to visualize how the deck looks, right? How it looks on the interior of your library versus just the 100 or the 99 cards on top. So thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos continuing the entire saga. The next video probably is going to be the mana base or the explanation of the deck building template. Yes. So that is where I think is going to take me a little bit more time because I really wanted to make it very solid. So, hey, like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for your time. Stay tuned. Commander.